Okay. First of all, I have some questions. Do we have a doctor in the room? Do we have a policeman in the room? Any lawyers? There must be a lawyer in the room. Okay. I have been asked to make a presentation and to lead a series of comments to honor my neighbor, Nikolaos Arvanitidis. Originally, I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be talking about, whether it was his contribution to the relationship between Greek and Swedish basketball, or whether the fact is that in all the years we've known him, he doesn't appear to have aged. He must have incredible DNA, so he should make a future career selling his chromosomes to us who are less fortunate than him. It has only been a great honor and pleasure, speaking personally, to work with Nico. I know that you're hungry. I can hear your stomachs from here. So could I ask a few people just to come up? And what I propose to do is run through a few quick comments, some in person, some I have received. So Kai, Ioannis, Dimitri, Angie, would you mind going over there to make comments one after the other? I did receive some comments. Slavko, you're more than welcome to deliver your comment in person if you wish. No, I can deliver yours. We searched. It wasn't hard. I mean, Nikos, everybody knows Nikos. As I say, he's been around since at least the Greek Revolution. But many people commented. We threw our net quite broad across Europe, not only in Greece and in Scandinavia, where Nikos is well known. I was very interested in the difference in the comments between the Greek participants and the people from Northern Europe. So I can't read some of the comments from the Greeks, to be honest. I'm sure there is at least one lawyer in the room, but comments about money and animals, and I'm not going to read those comments at all. And there's something about an arrest warrant, and I can't read these things. Anyway, so coming on to our first comment, which I will read. It is from our friend Konstantinos Papavasiliou, who's an eminent professor. I'm sure most of our Greek colleagues know him well. I won't read everything because time is very, very short. I know Nikos since 1983, when I was Director General of IGME. He describes Nikos as not only an excellent exploration geologist, but also a very good friend. I think we would all agree with that, I'm sure. They collaborated several times when Konstantinos became Director General of IGME the second time. He also appointed Nico to be the Greek representative to the European Commission for DG GROW, I'll shorten this, for the mineral sector, and comments on his success on this. It was Greece's loss in 2012 when Nikos decided to return back to Scandinavia, first to the Geological Survey of Finland, and then the Geological Survey of Sweden. He had a brilliant career there, as well as in Brussels, again, as representative of the Geological Survey of Sweden. Konstantinos sends his best wishes to his friend Nikolaos. So, that's the first comment. Our group, whoever chooses to go first. Just introduce yourself.
Dear Nikos, I'm too old to remember how many years we have been working together. Also, I'm too old to remember how many days we spent in northern Greece and how many deposit models we have created together, and how many beers we have drunk together during the night. What I definitely remember is our friendship. This was great and will be forever. For this occasion, please allow me to give you a small present from me and Dora to remember Cyprus, the IS Cyprian, and a small recommendation. You know, the life is too short, so therefore, please come as soon as possible to Cyprus to have a couple of glasses of wine on the Troodos pillow lovers.
Dimitri, thank you very much. I'll read three short comments. First one from Slavko Solar. Slavko, stand up, please, so everyone knows who you are. Slavko is arguably the best-looking guy in the room. We all know him very, very well from the many important seats he's filled. He describes Nikos very elegantly. He describes him as dedicated, reliable, and kind. Slavko, thank you for your comments. Jenny Greyberg, a lady who I like a great deal, was head of Swedish mining innovation and recently became vice president technology at LKAB, describes Nikos as a role model, kind, knowledgeable, always curious, always well prepared, always constructive, always with great passion and a strong drive to improve the raw materials sector. And she says, everyone should have a colleague like Nikos, which I think is a lovely comment. One more comment before I ask Kai to come forward from your countryman, Magnus Eriksson of the Raw Materials Group. Nikos, always willingly sharing his vast knowledge in a friendly manner and with a warm Greek smile. Over to Kai Lax, please, from the Swedish Geological Survey.
Well, Nikos, it's an honor for me to stand here. You know that if you're lucky when you're at work, someone at work can turn into a friend. I was not that lucky because I hired a friend. I actually was Nikos' boss a couple of years back when I hired him, and I had no idea I hired a friend. Of course, we knew each other from before. I have only one regret is that I stole you from the Finnish Geological Survey, and to this belongs the fact that I was born in Finland, so it was a bit of a strange situation. But I've enjoyed working with you for several years now. I'm also happy to see that you managed to educate our own government in Sweden on raw material issues after you left the survey. So I think your heart is thoroughly blue and white. It's a Greek heart, but there are large parts of Europe in that heart as well. Thank you.
I'll read one more comment and then I'll ask Angie Wittenberg and Ioannis Paspaliaris to bring our proceedings to an honourable end. Comment is from Karen Hanghoy, who you probably know, formerly head of EIT Raw Materials and now the director of the British Geological Survey, a good friend to many of us, sends her deep regrets at not being here, but there is a rival event on in London. I'm going to read her comment more or less in full. It says, I started working with Nikos when I was at the GUS, when we were both on the Eurogeo Survey's Mineral Expert Group. These were exciting times where minerals were starting to make its way onto the European agenda. Fortunately for me, the many joint projects and collaboration continued while I was at EIT Raw Materials, and also now where I am at the British Geological Survey. Nikos has been incredibly important, well, essential really, in getting minerals higher and higher on the European agenda, and for contributing so much important research and advice over the years. The Critical Raw Materials Act is an important testament to the impact of all this work, and now the work to ensure it has the anticipated outcome and impact continues. We will miss Nikos on that journey, but perhaps he won't be able to resist dabbling a bit and not taking his well-deserved retirement. So we move on to Angie Wittenberg, and the last speaker will be Ioannis Paspaliaris.
Thank you. So Nikos, when Mark asked if I can bring some lines to your work and prove how excellent your work has been, I thought, I was very, very humbled, and I also thought, you know, this is really a pleasant and easy task to do. And then I gave it a second thought, and I thought, it's pleasant, but it's not easy. Your experience, your work, everything what you have done, it goes, you know, from here to there in any time of the value chain. And we all are very, very dependent on your experience, on your, let's say, timeless, constant willingness to share all your knowledge with us at any time, in any situation. And what I always found also very interesting to see is whenever we have a kind of audience, and this is really exception today, is at least I know immediately that you are in the room, because if there is any kind of bullshit in the room, you stand up, you correct, you make a statement, and you also made always this statement that is the geology in the first place. We have to understand in order to have a real value chain in place. Without the geology, without the knowledge about our deposits, it's nothing in place. And you always made these kind of statements, and I'm very grateful for that. And finally, because I don't want to take the people too much time out for any other issues, is the two of us, we have met first when I came to the European Commission and for the raw materials initiative at that time. And at that time, I must say, the European Commission was really not aware what a raw material is at all. There was no one almost in the entire Commission who knows that. And you helped me very much to put the things in place in the right order, and also made always a clear statement that, of course, we have a very good understanding for many things, but we need to spend more into knowledge, into developing the technologies, into research and exploration. Without that, we do not go any further. And this is something which is now, since you really hammered that in any places, it's now something which pays back in the European programs. There are a lot of projects. Many of the projects have been also somehow received certain kind of input from your side personally. And also it pays back that the European Commission's proposal on the Critical Raw Materials Act has also realized that we have to have something with exploration in place. And the only thing I must say, what really puzzled me for a very long time, when I first met you, was you were wearing so many different hats all the time, and you're juggling them around, and I was never sure how you can manage to keep all these different aspects in line and how to serve all the different, let's say, organizations. Might it be the organization of the Geological Survey of Greece, where we first started with? Might it be as the admired chair of the MREC group, which you have brought into a very good perspective and which is now also in very good hands? Or might it be with the different surveys? Might it be GTK or the Swedish one? But I realized you are able to manage everything. Thanks for all.
Nikos is a very old friend of mine. I don't know who is older, but obviously he does not need some notes in order to say something. So, presumably, I am the older one. As deep as I can search in my memories, I always remember Nikos supporting the EU raw material sector in Greece and in European Union. And also, I remember him making very interesting presentations about the numerous projects he was involved or coordinated. I may say that Nikos was a true EU research project pioneer. Since the historic time of Bright Uram program, I don't believe that there are more than 10 people that know Bright Uram, what means Bright Uram, so we are the few last 10 people of the Bright Uram project. The 5, 6, and 8 framework programs and then to AIDS 2020 till today in the Horizon program, he had a continuous participation in almost every framework event, always presenting clearly his views about the prospects of the raw material sector in Europe, his research findings, and paving new ways to exploit new EU mineral deposits. The most precious jewel in our world of common collaboration in research project was the EURARA project, European Rare Earth Materials Exploitation, and it was long before rare earths come into fashion in Europe. So this proves also the pioneering work there. I admired the will, the dedication, and the knowledge of Nikos through his contribution in this project. However, his remarkable contribution to identify, reveal, and exploit the gold deposits in Macedonia and Thrace has to be particularly emphasized. I can speak for many hours about his interests, the many things he likes to do. However, I do not believe that Mark will allow me to do so. So I would like to stay only in one particular issue: his great love of Chalkidiki. But in order to express this, let me borrow his own words that I believe they reflect clearly the geological and social culture of Nikos. Chalkidiki geological development and physiognomy demarcate, determine, and characterize the potential and prospects for capitalizing on the area's natural wealth and provide a roadmap to sustainable development with one eye firmly fixed on the present and the other on the future. Here, the sea plays its part, showcasing in its own special way its relationship with geology. Let us never forget Chalkidiki Peninsula is forged from land and sea. My good friend Nikos, I impatiently await to feed us in the near future with such bright spirit and ideas as those in your remarkable book, Made of Land and Sea, combining geology, literature, love and respect for our homeland, and showing the best way to reach sustainable growth.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank our dear friends and colleagues for such wonderful testimonials. I ask you all please to stand up as we honor Nikos. Professor Xenidis will present him with a small award, and I ask you to all show your appreciation. Thank you very much. Bon appétit, everybody. I think it's time for lunch.